adaptive systems, there are two things in my opinion have happened. The kind of advancement what we have in technology, which has happened in the past 3-4 years, during COVID, post-COVID, probably much more faster than the tech advancement which would have happened in the past 2 decades.
Very right.
Organizations, enterprises across the globe, during the slowdown and during the COVID pandemic when it hit, they started making heavy investment in technology
Yeah.
just to get rid of dependency on manpower.
Yeah.
There were tools, there were automation, they made heavy investment, as a result of which I don't want to take ChatGPT as a single most example, but what ChatGPT kind of an application or the app which taught us is the mundane task, which to my opinion and some research which I have to back it up, which is costing about 87% of the transactional volume of an organization, close to 47% of the cost of an enterprise will go away. These mundane tasks will go away. The future, I have predicted this by the year 2025 and the next phase is 2030. The market will be opened, it'll open only for SMEs, subject matter expert.
Yeah.
So in that connection, of course, it's a very long question, I want to give a background. In that connection, I firmly believe health tech industry prominently stands out in a country like India. For us, the figment of imagination what we can have about the health reaching the last mile, some support from the government and many private enterprises like yours, is building an ecosystem whereby every citizen of this country will be catered through health.
Sure.
In order to reach the last mile of this country, the citizen of this country, tech is going to play a very, very major role.
Sure.
So from your perspective, if someone was interested to get into using technology as a platform to get into the health tech industry, what would be your 2 piece of sense?
Sure. So, your question has the complete answer. I'll go 76 years backward. Okay. When we were getting independence, all the freedom fighters were interested in two important aspects for the independent India, including Mahatma Gandhi. It's very well documented, said multiple times, and even after the when we got the freedom. One was education.
Other was healthcare.
Both are them in shambles.
Correct.
Okay. The kind of heterogeneity, the kind of languages, the kind of divide we have in the country, and it is difficult. And the scale. When you talk about scale, you have to think tech. Otherwise, that's with
there's no way to scale up. Yeah.
Yes, there's no way to scale up. Even with the conventional method, even if you open, hospitals, medical colleges, we'll need 30 plus odd years to reach some scale, and God knows population will be in what directions, disease pattern will be totally different. So tech is must. Now coming back to, you mentioned about government. So government upon government, each year, be it part of the planning commission or be it part of the Niti Aayog 5-year, has talked about two aspects of health. One, accessible health, which you said to the last mile of the population. And also affordable. So affordable and accessible are very important. Even if you're reaching somewhere at the remotest corner, but you say a doctor consult will cost you 8,000 rupees, not going to make any help to that man.
Common man, absolutely, yeah.
So affordability and accessibility is very important. When you talk about these two factors, and I think tech is going to play an important role. And fortunately for us, with ABDM under the Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji is talking about tech intervention in healthcare. This is the first time we talked about tech intervention in the healthcare.
So what is the disruption you anticipate in tech industry?
Sure.
For healthcare.
For healthcare. So there is a clear-cut direction, like Aadhaar is a well-proven national identity for all of us.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
It's beyond doubt now.
Correct.
The tech stack which we have developed for the similarly now government is doing an ABHA ID, Ayushman Bharat Healthcare ID for each and every individual, which is a hallmark decision, and I am of the opinion that it is already setting the benchmark. Government has come out with a very well defined milestones. There are 4 milestones in which each and every human will get an ABHA ID, which means that all you have a health ID, I have a health ID, which is uniquely identifier, and irrespective of the healthcare entity you approach, your ABHA ID should get tracked. So what it means is that there are multiple players in the healthcare ecosystem. right from a primary healthcare to a preventive healthcare to a lab or diagnostic chain to a pharmacy shop to a secondary care and to a tertiary care hospital. So what happens is that your longevity of patient records is moving between. So now two things is happening. Just understand that when we move from one hospital to another hospital or from one entity to another entity, doctor says that these tests are required. Patient says,
History is never referred.
okay, so now the guy says that I did the test 2 days back, but I don't have the report. So delay in test is causing two activities.
Okay.
One is a delay in treatment. Second is an extra cost. So now with Abha ID coming into picture, if the patient has volunteered to share his previous record, doctor doesn't have to worry about where the previous record was, whether the previous test was done in his lab or somewhere else, he can retrieve that. So what it means is that from a social angle, it means doctor portability. It means hospital portability.
It's like a mobile number portability.
It's a mobile number portability.
Okay.
You know, 5 years back we were a captive of Vodafone, Idea, Jio, Airtel. Now I can change any service provider if service is not up to the mark. Same thing you can do with the doctor. Same you can do with the. So Abha ID is going to play that role.
Fantastic. Very interesting. I have one relevant question, a follow-up question rather I can say. In the healthcare industry, where do you foresee telemedicine initiatives will move forward?
Yeah, they will definitely move forward. I think, just previously when we talked about accessibility of health, why health should be a function of the area in which you live. This is the fundamental flaw in the current healthcare system. And plus, as per multiple reports by leading, research companies in India, primary research companies, a person has to move 50 kilometers just to get a consult done. So this is not the way. Okay. Now what's happening is that with telemedicine, we will be able to achieve this. A country has fantastic broadband. Government of India itself, under the Ministry of IT and associated ministry, is laying broadband of multi-lakh kilometers across 250,000 hospitals, 50,000 railway stations, and so many other districts. So which means that even if someone doesn't have a connectivity at home, someone doesn't have a PC at home, they can go to the district center or the village panchayat and get a telemedicine. So infrastructure problem to large extent is solved. Now why I feel these trends will be very positive in nature. I am sharing the experiences from my COVID days. I'll share a couple of myths which were there and how they get probably corrected or mystified. One is that we were always under the impression that only younger people will do telemedicine because older people are not so tech savvy.
Okay.
So we realized that more than 50% of patients with 50 year and plus were doing telemedicine, at least in Vedanta, and the volumes are very high.
Very high. Okay.
Second, again, very wrongly, this is an impression that some of the Hindi heartland states like MP, Jharkhand, UP, Bihar, people are not tech savvy. These 4 states constituted more than 40%
of your volume
of telemedicine volume for Vedanta. Okay, so this myth also got. The third myth was that only patients who are already captive will come to your hospital for telemedicine because they have no other choice. They can't go to somewhere else. Then we realized that more than 33% patients who came during telemedicine to Vedanta were from new, totally new patients, which means that they have been to Vedanta for the first time.
They are the first timers.
So this is again, people were experimenting with the new doctors on telemedicine platform. And the fourth myth was that very interesting. We think that serious disease patients on the neuro side, on the onco cancer side, and also to some extent on the cardiac side will not do telemedicine because it's a serious disease. People will love to only people with hypertension, with endocrinologists, skin disease will come. It was not. So these 3-4 major diseases which are very, very serious, their patients more than 30% came purely and
Including
pure,
diabetics.
not including diabetics. Sugar patients, is okay. They have to share their sugar readings and tell that this is my insulin level, this is my sugar reading levels. Tell me whether I continue with the same medicine. Doctor doesn't have to hear their pulse. Doctor doesn't have to touch them. He reads the sugar reading, he reads the insulin level and
Advices on the telly. Yeah.
so this is possible, but others was doubtful. But we got it. It was good that even those 3 set of disease patients were also coming on a telemedicine platform. So with these 3-4 major trends which were emerging during COVID and now continuing, telemedicine is bound to stay. Telemedicine fortunately is getting augmented with the help of technology on more and more ammunition in the hand of doctors. I'll give you a couple of examples. Doctor has to hear the chest of the patient or the back of the patient to know how his lungs are performing. Now remotely he or she can't do that. So now there is a doctor assist who just has to put the digital stethoscope and doctor can hear the pulse remotely with a lag of 5 seconds or 10 seconds in his or her clinic, about the patient. So this is one example. Similarly, that doctor with the help of HD cameras, he can see whether the patient has diabetic retina or not, or can see the ENT. So all of these basic stuffs are now getting attached to the telemedicine platform. It's like plug and play instruments. You plug it and they are there. So it's going to stay. I strongly believe that after God, tech is the only unbiased, independent platform which doesn't judge between 2 human beings.
Absolutely. What is the significant thing which has contributed for Metaverse to have a slowdown?
So there are a couple of reasons. One, the handset which is required for end user was bulky. Second thing was that when you talk about metaverse, virtual reality or augmented reality, the most important aspect in this is the content part.